When a chance encounter becomes fate, Brian and Olivia embark on a journey from quiet admiration to fighting for their love. Through trials, heartbreak, family challenges, and long-awaited healing, their bond only grows stronger. This is a story of a love unafraid of pain or time, a story of two souls who learned to become each other's home.
Love Stories Max. Welcome to my channel. Enjoy watching, friends.
Where Our Forever Begins. Olivia loved autumn. With her caramel-colored coat, a soft scarf brushing her neck, and a faint cinnamon scent that followed her everywhere, she walked into Maple Garden Cafe almost every evening after work. She worked at a small nearby bookstore, and her after-work ritual never changed: a nutmeg latte and a thick book for the soul. That same season, the cafe hired a new barista, Brian. Quiet, observant, with slightly tired dark eyes and hair that always fell onto his forehead, he smiled as if he were hiding it from the world. On the first day she came in, he got her order wrong and handed her an espresso. "Oh, sorry, that's not what you ordered," he stammered. "It's okay," she smiled softly. "It happens." Something inside him shifted from that moment, as if someone had knocked on a long locked door in his heart and he finally opened it. 2 weeks passed before they had a real conversation. "You always read the classics," he said one evening when the cafe was almost empty. "They keep me grounded," she replied. "And you? Why do you work here?" Brian shrugged. "Sometimes the simple things help you forget the complicated ones." Her gaze softened. "You speak like someone who's hiding a whole story." "I am," he said quietly. "Maybe one day I'll tell you." They sat in warm silence, the kind that felt like comfort rather than tension. He wrote "Brian" on her cup lid. She wrote "Olivia" on a napkin. Their names touched for the very first time. When the first snow fell, Brian knew with certainty he was in love. She laughed when snowflakes stuck to her eyelashes, and he realized he wanted to see that every day. One cold night, he saw her waiting for the bus without gloves. He walked up and handed her his. "You're freezing. You'll be cold without these." "I'll manage," he said quietly. Their fingers brushed, a brief, trembling moment when the world went silent. They began taking evening walks. Long conversations about everything and nothing. Dinners with hot soup. Laughter under streetlights. Accidental touches that lingered longer each time. Everything seemed perfect, until Brian's past came back for him. Brian never told her the full story. He had once been a musician, a rising guitarist in a young band. But after losing his older brother in an accident, he walked away from music, from dreams, from life. Olivia found out accidentally one night. She entered the cafe after closing and saw him sitting alone, holding an old guitar, playing a song filled with pain and longing. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "It's heartbreak," he said. "Heartbreak can be beautiful too." She touched his hand. He instantly pulled away. "Don't." "Why not?" "Because I'm broken." Her heart cracked at those words. "If you don't let me into your darkness, how can I be your light?" she whispered. He said nothing, and his silence hurt more than any words could. For weeks, their conversations shrank into polite nods. He distanced himself, afraid of losing her the way he had lost everything before. She came to the cafe, but the warmth between them felt painfully thin. Finally, one cold evening, he said, "I can't give you what you deserve." "You don't get to decide that," she replied, voice trembling. "I ruin people. And I'm not afraid of you." "Well, I am." That was the last thing he said before she walked out into the snowfall without looking back. He watched her disappear between the street lights, knowing he had just let go of the best thing that had ever happened to him. 2 months passed. Winter wrapped the city, and Olivia's heart, in cold silence. Brian returned to music. He spent nights on the rooftop, writing songs about her, about the warmth he lost and the future he feared to dream about. One evening, he found the courage to visit her bookstore. She froze the moment she saw him. "Hi," he whispered. "You disappeared. I was trying to find myself, and I found you." He handed her a small flash drive. "Listen to this. If after hearing it you tell me, no, I'll walk away forever. But if you tell me, yes, I'll fight for us every day." She took it, hands trembling. That night, she listened. The melody was fragile, honest, full of unspoken words. Then his voice filled the room. "Your name is my snow. Your hands are my home. You're my autumn. You're my winter. You're my always." Tears streamed down her cheeks, warm, healing tears. She rushed outside without even buttoning her coat. Brian sat by the cafe, strumming quietly. When he saw her, he stopped breathing. "Did you listen?" She nodded, walking toward him. "And, your answer?" She held his face in her warm palms. "My answer was always, yes." He held her tight, as if this time, nothing and no one could steal her away. "I won't run from what I love anymore," he said. "And I won't let you hide in the dark," she whispered. Snow fell around them, but spring bloomed in their hearts. They found a cozy apartment on the 3rd floor of an old building, wooden floors, tall windows, warm sunlight. Olivia filled the place with plants, always watering them with a small metal watering can. Brian brewed coffee and watched her, thinking, This is what happiness looks like." Weekends turned into rituals. Cocoa with marshmallows, vinyl records, experimenting with omelets, late-night guitar sessions and quiet singing. Brian slowly returned to music, for himself, not for fame. Their love lived in the tiny details. Then reality knocked. A local manager heard Brian's songs and offered to help him record an EP. Olivia was happy, truly, but fear stirred deep inside her. Music had once taken him away. He was scared too, scared of losing her the way he lost everything years ago. Their arguments were soft, but sharp. "I'm afraid you'll choose your music over me," she admitted. "I'm afraid music will destroy me again," he whispered. "I don't want to stop you from your dream. And I don't want to take your peace." They loved each other fiercely, and feared each other's wounds just as fiercely. Recording began. Brian spent 10 to 12 hours in the studio. Olivia spent nights writing articles, coming home to an empty apartment. One night she found him asleep on the couch, guitar still in his arms. She covered him with a blanket, removed his headphones, brushed his hair back, and cried silently. Not from anger. From fear of losing him. In the morning he noticed her swollen eyes. You cried? I'm just tired. Because of me? Her silence answered for her. One evening she sat on the floor near the window, hugging her knees. Brian sat beside her. You barely talk to me, he whispered. You're either tired or gone. I'm trying to chase a dream. And what about our dream? The dream of living life together? Her voice cracked. If you go back to music, go back as a man who wants to live, not someone running from pain. I don't want to lose you. And I don't want to lose you, he said. I just don't know how to be a musician and your husband. You don't have to be perfect. Just be here. He finally pulled her into a full, real embrace, one that felt like the beginning all over again. Spring came. Olivia felt unusual, tired, sensitive, uneasy. When she took a pregnancy test, 2 pink lines appeared. She sat at the kitchen table, trembling, when Brian walked in. Olivia? Are you okay? She looked up with teary eyes. We're going to be parents. He froze, then lifted her into his arms, tears falling freely. These tears weren't pain, they were life. Pregnancy changed them. Brian adjusted his schedule and wrote music at home, quietly, softly. He composed lullabies before their child was even born. Olivia became gentler yet stronger. She read parenting books while Brian struggled to choose between minimalist bunny and eco-friendly bear baby clothes. They cooked together. They laughed. He talked to the baby every evening. Hey, little one, be gentle with mom today, okay? Their love deepened into something peaceful and whole. Late in pregnancy, Olivia woke from unbearable pain. Brian panicked. They rushed to the hospital. He held her hand the entire time. His eyes said what his voice couldn't. After an hour, the doctor returned. The baby is fine. A strong spasm, but everything's stable now. She needs to rest. Brian collapsed into Olivia's shoulder and whispered, I wouldn't survive losing you too. She stroked his hair. This time she was his strength. Their daughter was born at 6:42 a.m. Small, calm. Her tiny fingers wrapped around Brian's, refusing to let go. She holds me the same way you held me when I was afraid of everything, he said. They named her Ellie, from the lullaby he wrote months earlier. That night, while everyone slept, Brian sat by her crib and played guitar softly. Olivia woke and watched him. His voice was gentle, filled with love, for their daughter, for her, for the new life they created. There were no shadows left in him. Only love.